some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah, hope I get away with it. Oh, the doo-dah day. Well, hello and welcome to the launch pad and our live coverage of Stupid O'Clock. Why are you here?
Hey, good save, Zach. Good save.
I ask myself that question every week.
So do I.
Guys, I will tell you this. I had a huge lunch today. Oh, I'm stuffed still from it. Didn't eat breakfast because I knew we were going there to eat lunch. We went to Bees.
Ooh. You know, one of these days we got to get Zach into town, take him to Bees.
Oh.
What is Bees?
Zach, Joe, Dan.
The whole crowd. That's what, three tables?
No, you could fit all five of us at the table and still have room for the better halves. I mean, those are big tables. Joe, you would love Bees. Imagine a buffet that they bring everything to the table and there's a lazy Susan in the middle and you just spin the thing around to get what you want.
Keep talking dirty to me.
And there are times you reach to, dip something out of one of the little serving bowls up there. And as you reach for it, the thing takes off. Hey, wait a minute. Oh.
Motors can be unhooked.
Yeah. No, there's no motors.
It's somebody else reaching for something they want.
Yeah. You get to see some families fight over it, which way the thing goes.
But me and Donna drank 2 pitchers of tea. I had 6 pieces of chicken, a bowl of pinto beans. There you go, Joe.
Ooh.
I'm glad I'm not in your room right now.
Why?
You just said you had a bowl of beans.
Oh, they make great pinto beans.
Oh, yeah. Zach, they cook roughly 500 pounds of pinto beans a day. They cook 50 chickens.
And on the day they do barbecue,
they had barbecue today. And the cherry cobbler, oh man, that cherry cobbler tastes like they just pulled it out of the oven and slapped it on the plate. Are you hungry yet, Joe?
No, because I had a rather big dinner tonight too.
Oh.
Yeah, I grilled hamburgers or cheeseburgers actually.
Lindsay made a stir fry. So I had chicken a l'orange and stir fry, vegetables, and I suppose that was chicken too. Either that or it was one of those pork chops that I wanted to cook outside.
I'm going to do what I wanted to do.
Hey, I put too much soy sauce on that one. And the orange chicken, I did not put any soy sauce on whatsoever because she warned me ahead of time that would not work.
I'd like to ask for a moment of silence. We lost George Foreman on Thursday. So
That we did.
we've had several of these things, but this one's my favorite. This is the George Foreman hot dog cooker, which is really cool because it's got the bun steamer up top. That's where the buns go, and then of course that's where the hot dogs go. Did he ever actually make heavyweight champion?
Yeah.
So he did make it a champion. Okay.
Yeah. He's the only guy Mike Tyson was afraid to fight.
And the guy had great sense of humor too. I love
Oh,
the fact that he named all 7 of his kids George.
Yeah. Even the girls.
Even the girls. Yes. And one of the girls named George took up boxing.
Mm-hmm.
And was pretty good at it for whatever she was doing for that time. I can't remember what that league was.
So Zach, when is the I done forgot the name of it. The Polar Express.
Fram 2. That would have been such a much better name than Fram 2. I don't know where that name came from, but
Fram is a ship that explored Antarctica.
Okay. Polar Express sounds better, and you could have done a collab with Disney. April 1st.
Oh, how appropriate. Anyway, okay. And when is the next Starliner launch?
Good question. Next question.
Late August, and it'll be a cargo mission.
Starliner?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, who told you late August?
That's rough guess.
Oh,
He
okay.
has his sources.
I was like, I haven't heard anyone say August. No, that NASA's still wrestling whether they want another uncrewed test flight, another crewed test flight, or if they're like, screw it, let's go operational. Yeah.
No, make it a cargo hauler. Tell Sierra Space, okay, you can put seats and a life support in the next Dream Chaser.
At this point, what's the point? A station has less than 5 years?
Yeah, but people still got to eat.
Well, yeah, but we got dragons for that. We're soon to have 5 crew dragons and 3 cargo dragons. We hardly even need Soyuz at this point.
Are they still making Soyuz?
Yeah.
They've Soyuz
They launch
6
like once a week.
Isn't there a Soyuz 6 coming out?
Is that what they're calling the new one?
Soyuz 6 blah blah blah, blah.
It's Soviet. It's got 50 letters, and none of them should go together because they're all
And half of
vowels.
them are backwards.
And
But it's
I know,
supposed
they're working
to.
on a bunch of new stuff.
I thought they
Yeah,
couldn't
they got to
launch-
get stuff ready to fly over to the Russian or to the Chinese space station.
Yeah. They've been using the Soyuz 2 in 2 variants since 2006.
And this new one coming out.
I'm trying to find what the new one is. It's not called Soyuz.
It was on that other channel's Week in Space.
Oh, what's it called? It's not Angara. It's
You talking about Becky?
Sorry, no, it is Angara. Angara is their new rocket for Russia.
Oh,
But they were calling it also a Soyuz.
No. I don't know why they would have been calling something Soyuz 6, because the only thing that Soyuz 6 was Soyuz 6, the mission.
Hmm.
I don't know what they were talking about.
That's okay. Neither do they.
Do what?
I said that's okay. Neither do they.
I'm not saying nothing.
Now they do have a guy that still runs out and lights the fuse.
I just find it insane that I could go and stand 15 minutes before launch at the rocket. That just seems wrong. Yeah. It just
Now,
seems wrong.
when they were launching Crew 10, heard them talk about it, that they said Falcon is the only rocket that is, the astronauts are on it as it fuels.
Correct.
And probably one of the safest launch systems ever.
I was that seems slightly dangerous, but okay.
What?
well, as long as you put your cigar out before they finish fueling.
Mm,
Well, it's safer to fuel it because they're already in their capsule, which already has a launch escape system that's armed before any propellant starts to flow. So the pad's already been cleared of anyone else. Where with Shuttle or Soyuz, they go out. I mean, Soyuz, anyone and everyone's at the pad. But Shuttle, it was hissing and screaming for hours. And then you had busloads of crew going out and support crew while the thing was fueled. They were just lucky they never had a failure on the pad.
Like the three guys that had to run out to Artemis and hit it with a hammer.
Yup. Yeah. Oh.
The trick is knowing how big a hammer and where
Where to
to hit it.
Oh, they went way up on it too. They didn't just go to the bottom. They went up the rocket.
Yeah, they had to go up the elevator, right?
I don't want to know what their insurance policy, life insurance policy, or lack thereof one looks like, because those elevators did not have doors after liftoff. The doors had been launched horizontally away from the pad. The doors were also stupidly designed to face the pad and not away from the rocket.
Yeah, I'm serious. Who puts an elevator right in front of a rocket nozzle? Come on.
Well, they didn't think about the part of the engine thrust will break open the engine doors at the top and make like a flame tunnel down the inside of the elevator shaft and then blow out the bottom. Oops. Guess what they didn't change on the second one that they're building right now? Elevators still face the pad.
Hey, Adam, how you doing? Welcome. I guess it's, middle of the afternoon for him tomorrow.
How's the future?
Just as dull as it is.
When I was in the Army in Berlin, I wanted to come home once on the Concorde. It's expensive as hell. Of course, it's about $1,500 back then. But they call it the time machine because you literally get home 3 hours before you left.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I look forward to flying on the replacement of the Concorde. The Overture.
It's supposed to fly next year?
The first test flight will be 4 years.
40 years?
4.
4, okay.
They did their test flights with the XB-1.
Yeah.
They did 2 test flights. It's done one more flight back to their headquarters, where it is being decommissioned and put in their lobby. And their factory where they will build the Overture is already built. It's actually huge.
And
it'll take them 4 years to build the first flight-ready one for test flights. And if that works, then they've already got 180 of them or something have been ordered.
Oh, John, have you heard the name for the F-47?
No.
It's the acronym for Electronic Ground Operated. EGO.
I've used their battery operated devices before at work. The leaf blowers really go through batteries very quickly.
Now, I think John sort of caught on what it is. F-47, the president chose the designation number, Electronic Ground Operated, EGO.
You know who chose it? It wasn't the president. It was recommended to the president at dinner by the king of acronyms.
Ah,
If you want to pull that up, Joe Dog, though, it's a pretty plane.
oh, is this the?
This is Overture. And the nose doesn't move like the Concorde.
No, it's got cameras all over. That's what all them little bumps are, the various cameras.
Yeah. But this is the factory that they've already built. Ready to... They want to build it basically like a Tesla factory. Where they just crank out... There we go. There's the size of it again.
Mach 17?
They believe they can eventually get it up to... What was it? They went to 1.1 on the test flight.
Yeah, 1.7, Joe. I don't think.
Yeah, 1. Where was it? Where did it say that?
That right, the license plate.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
that was
1.7.
Okay. That was the first supersonic flight with the Concorde. They went to 1.1. I think they pushed 1.2 or 3 during the test flights with the XB-1. They said 1.7 won't be a problem. They believe after some refining that before they go into full production, they might be able to hit 2.2, 2.3. But they'll only be legally... Their biggest barrier now, and the reason why it's going to take them 4 years to do anything, is they have to change all of the regulation in Congress. Because these are technically not allowed to fly currently in the United States over land. So what they're proposing is basically the same thing that we have over the highways, is that we build supersonic corridors, north, south, east, and west on the country. And they can only go 1.5 or something within those. And then when they go over the ocean, they could bump it up to 2.3. But their big test with the XB-1, which they proved worked 6 times. This was their test flight. There it is, 1.12. 6 times they went supersonic, and all 6 times it was completely boomless. It was never heard on the ground. So that's the whole premise around their bigger aircraft, is that, well, we should be allowed to do it because we're not doing the one problem that Concorde has, which was making the sonic boom. Which is ultimately probably one of the bigger reasons why Concorde failed, was it couldn't be supersonic for as long as it wanted to be.
You know,
That looks like a wild landing that he does there.
Well, it's a very lightweight test plane.
Yeah. Bouncy legs.
Miami, because of the tourism trade, when supersonic jets first came out, Miami wanted to build a supersonic airport. They built it out in the Everglades, northwest of Miami.
Oh.
And there's a highway that ran up underneath it, and there's nothing out there except that airport. And somewhere down the line, they lost funding. So there's the start of an airport sitting out in the middle of the swamp.
Interesting.
It's an Air National Guard training base now. But that was, Miami wanted that to be the big supersonic airport for the United States.
Everybody coming in, yeah.
To get get people to Disney World faster.
I wonder why Miami though.
Because of the Everglades, they wanted the tourism. Miami is already a big airport for the Caribbean.
Okay. 130 pre-orders. Yeah. He's a pretty plane though.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, but when that tag scrolled by, I saw Mach 17. I'm going,
Good golly.
And look what the seats are gonna look like. Pretty.
is Elon design? Did SpaceX design those seats?
No. Oh, I've never seen this. That's cool.
Ah,
That's the flight deck. I wonder if it is completely screen run or if they do actually. Oh, they're using augmented reality cameras.
Cool.
Oh, this is how they're eliminating the need for the nose.
Right.
They're permanently
actually-
designing it bent, but then they
Yeah,
don't need to change that.
They've got a whole system of cameras around the aircraft.
Yeah.
And so wherever he looks, he can see what the cameras see. Look right through the plane.
That's cool. So, yeah, 4 years, and then the first one will hopefully have a test flight. But their theory is that they should be able to fly it from basically any. If you could land a 747, you could land one of these, no problem.
Well, a lot of America's bigger airports are on the East Coast anyway. So the whole sonic boom thing shouldn't be much of a problem.
They're talking about this domestic.
Oh, really?
New York, LA, Houston, Chicago. Like
Yeah,
they want.
Chicago- Yeah,
they want
everybody
this to
bitches about
replace-
sonic booms anywhere near Chicago. And Detroit's got the same thing.
They just blend in.
Oh, they'd be drowned out by the gunfire anyway.
No,
now
they
that
want
would
to
that
replace
would be
the
nice, you know,
737.
2 hours from New York to L.A.
I don't remember if they have a.
Does it say
They have a
anything
nice
about what
shot.
kind of engines they're putting on that thing?
They're called Symphony. They're their own.
Oh,
Like the entire aircraft is custom.
huh.
So it's a turbofan system. So, we'll see. In theory, the XB-1 worked, so a lot smaller of an aircraft, but we also got really epic views because of Starlink. But
Now the thing is, you know, comparing that to the plane they're building, that's a BB compared to a 16-inch shell.
yeah. Wonder if anyone's done a size comparison.
Well, what about the NASA plane?
The one they were all really excited about and then haven't said a lick about?
Yeah,
Good question.
I thought it was supposed to take flight just after this thing did.
Yeah, they haven't said
I think it already has flown. Just they're not. That's testing. So, yeah, it's
Maybe this one stole the thunder.
I'm
possibly.
trying to remember what the name of the newest one was. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, the X-59
Yeah.
Quest. This thing.
Johnny Quest's dad is building it?
Apparently,
Oh, it'll work first time then.
Yeah. They unveiled a real one.
And be VTOL.
When was this? Completes electromagnetic testing. February 25th. Did it take off or was it all on the ground?
let's see. 22 days ago, NASA's X-59 quiet supersonic jet clears major hurdle ahead of the first flight.
Okay, so yeah, it hasn't flown yet.
Yep, they just
13 days
tested the
ago.
electronics.
Past 7 days. Let's see what. Oh, nope, ain't got nothing in the past. No news in the past 7 days.
Yeah, this was their big grand unveiling that they did.
Okay. Let me see.
Because everyone's like, ooh. And then they unveiled it, and everyone's like, oh, it's so ugly.
Well, if it's not supposed to make a boom, Carl's asking who is building this overture.
They're called. What? I ordered a Boom Supersonic.
That explains the name on the side.
Yeah. Boom Supersonic is going to make America boom again quietly.
Aha. You know, I was looking at a car when I got out of the Army because I had all that Army money. I wanted to get a new car. I was at the shopping mall, and they had cars in the shopping mall around the fountain there at Northgate. Turns out Kia Motor Company had a bunch of really nice. They had this one SUV that really looked nice. I went and sat in it, real comfortable. You know, I liked it. Good headroom, good legroom. But the more I looked around inside of it, everywhere I looked was a little logo that said KIA. I just wasn't going to ride around in a car with KIA plastered all over it after being in the military that long. And
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And you know, if you're going to have a supersonic plane, Boom probably is not a good name for the company building the damn thing. Okay.
Josh.
Yeah, well, that's like trying to sell a Nova, a Chevy Nova in Mexico.
The thing I don't get about what the X-59 is supposed to do is, like, what's its development point other than proving we can do it? Like, is this another department in NASA that's just spending money to prove we can do something, but then it doesn't actually go anywhere? Because there's no way you're scaling up that design.
Well, that is kind of NASA's job, actually. It's National Space and Aeronautics Administration. I mean,
We can
Well,
change that.
well,
testing stuff like this is literally what's in the name, you know?
well, didn't Boom Supersonic just do this
Yes,
on their dime?
correctly. That's why there's a lot of people that are like, it wouldn't be terrible if we dropped an A out of NASA. Just we can't call it the NSA anymore. Because, yeah, Boom Aerospace literally just did it. And they've done it at the dime of people ordering.
Yeah.
Where's the wiki? Is it Boom Technologies? Boom Overture? This has the order list. Virgin had ordered 10 till they close. Japan Airlines has ordered has options on 20. 51 options, we don't know who. United's ordered 15 with 35 options, and Americans ordered 20 with 40 options. They'll hold up to 50 people. Is the
About like the
expectation?
Concorde. Yeah.
Yeah. So
How
it's
much you
supposed to
want
be a higher quality flight.
how much you want to bet there are some princes in Saudi Arabia and Dubai with options on them?
Oh, 100%.
Where it says unknown options.
51.
Which one bet that's China?
Their CEO tweets a lot. Blake Skoll. And it's always interesting to see like the amount of information that he's been tweeting as a CEO of them working on it. One of their big proposals is save the money on the new Air Force Ones. They said, give us 4 years, we'll order you one. And they did a render. And they did a render so popular, it made it into the Oval Office.
Ooh.
As an official render to the president. And apparently the president really likes it. But if he doesn't have to fly with everyone, you could get somewhere in the country in a quarter of the time. Now, the question is, could you fit all the security stuff you need to?
No. That's the problem. It's
Nope.
unless the electronics make a big leap in miniaturization in the next few years. No.
But if you limited it to like 20 people, so like the back half of the plane could be security systems.
Wonder if they could
treat it almost like a Marine One that you transfer, that the big jets are only used for overseas. Or you just fly a fleet of these around.
Of course, they could do what they normally do and, fly the other stuff in by like C-5 aircraft and drop it off. And then the president shows up the last second screaming in this thing. So,
Exactly. Like the press corps could fly on the current Air Force One wherever.
Make them fly on their own dime.
I want to be in that press pool one day. It's very hard to get into.
Hey, September 11th, the press corps really didn't like being in the press corps.
No. Oh, yeah, there was a fire at Epcot.
Oh, no. What part?
Right next to Remy's Ratatouille adventure. So everyone's blaming the mouse for burning the Ratatouille.
That makes sense.
Apparently everyone's fine.
Was it one of the rides or was it one of the restaurants?
It was one of these, what do they call it? Staff areas. Like it didn't affect a ride or a restaurant. They haven't said much. No one's injured, but a lot of people were like, there's the fire. And then videos started coming out from on the Skyliner of the flames going about 2 feet tall. And they're like, might want to close that ride. So they haven't said what caused it. But.
Truck stop chili.
If Disney had bought Smokey the Bear, they wouldn't be having this damn problem.
We didn't have to buy him, just hire him.
Bunch of geeks had a lightsaber battle, started the fire.
Dan, remember
Yes.
that video I was telling you that dropped about the document drop?
Yeah.
It's called Law and Crime Network. And the
Oh,
and is the ampersand.
Okay.
He did another one, and there's more stuff. Yeah, there was lack of communications. Had CIA talked to the FBI, Oswald would have never been in the building. He would have been cooling in a jail cell.
There were a lot of things that were rather opportune for him.
Yeah. FBI, has wiretaps on all the mafia. And they flat out said it wasn't the mafia. Because one thing is mafia brags.
Oh, yeah.
All the calls that day were, did you do this? No, I thought it was you. You think it could have been so-and-so? I talked to him, it ain't him.
I'm just surprised there hasn't been any big bombshell in it. Like it's like, we all knew it already.
That's why there's so many conspiracy theories about it, is because it's very cut and dry, according to the evidence. But everybody wants it to be, aliens from Alpha Centauri or something. There you go, Joe. This is Marshall Space Flight Center in Houston, Texas.
Johnson.
Okay.
Oh, Johnson. I'm sorry. My bad. And I want to show this to Joe. That's the
Original design on the shuttle.
Yeah, sort of. That's Independence. And
I've been in that shuttle.
Really?
Yeah, it's a part of the museum now. You can go in the cargo bay and you can go in the flight deck.
Oh, cool. Okay. And then over here, this is kind of cool. This is one of the Falcon 9s. And the reason I wanted to show this to Joe is this. You can see the little people here walking around underneath it.
Yeah.
So it gives you a good idea of the scale.
Oh
yeah, a lot of people are upset about the design of that mount, that it wasn't a foot taller, because the Falcon 9 is at the perfect height that if you jump, you can write your name in the soot of the Falcon Heavy. So the entire underbody of that Falcon is covered in people's handprints and writing and in the dirt of the Falcon.
Well, they should have cleaned it.
No, it was flown.
Good pressure washer, get rid of that.
Really? I mean, what? Don't they own a pressure washer? Jeez. I mean,
No, that's the point.
Houston, everybody, you got to have a pressure washer to get the pollen off of every damn thing.
The thing that I didn't get is that they built this, like, they're doing all this, and they're working on a huge expansion now. But to the right of this building is the Saturn exhibit. Like, if you go backwards from where you are now, is where the Saturn V is located on property. That big
Did they have one?
Yeah, that's the third Saturn V.
Oh, I knew they had a partial. I knew they had a piece of one. I didn't know they had the whole thing.
Like, literally right across the road from Shuttle.
Oh, really?
That long building right there at the bottom of your screen.
Oh, that's it?
Saturn V. It used to be stored out. Well, it's inside. They have a Mercury outside.
Yeah, Mercury and the Little Joe too. Yeah.
It used to be stored outside. Where that long building is, used to be a Saturn V sitting outside. And then they realized, you know what? Hurricanes do damage.
Yes.
We should probably put a building around it. So they put a building around it. And then a few years later, they get a Falcon 9. And they said, you know what we should do? We should leave it outside. So yeah, I've seen that one too. I've seen 2 of the 3 real Saturns. So I need to head over to whatchamacallit?
Huntsville?
Yeah. Johnson's cool. It's just very expensive. If you want to actually see the real stuff.
It's sitting on the 747. Okay, I thought that was the original design for the shuttle.
No.
Tanker.
That's Independence, which
Yeah.
I don't believe is actually a space shuttle. I don't.
No, it's just
It was a full-scale sim.
Right.
So it was never to be flown, but it was a mock-up to scale. Have they hid all that information?
hit all what information?
Well, they went through a huge rebranding of Space Center Houston not that long ago.
Is it run by? Is it covered by NASA or is it covered by?
It's independent,
Smithsonian.
and it's not by Delaware North either. Thank God. It's its own thing, and it's a Smithsonian affiliate now.
Oh, there's your problem. Yeah, Smithsonian threatened to pull the Saturn V out of Huntsville. Made them spend several $1 million on a building for it.
Did they actually put it in a building? I thought it was still sitting outside.
No, it's in a building in Huntsville. And as they got to looking at it moving into the building, it had bullet holes in it.
Welcome to Alabama.
Well, I don't know if it's still in their plans or not, but this, I'll pull up a screenshot here. This was announced by Space Center Houston not that long ago as an expand. There's the Saturn V.
No, that's
not the real one. The
real one's in the building.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
The identical building to what was built at Johnson and Apollo.
They probably, being as it's a government operation, the building probably had to meet certain standards. So,
yeah.
Mm. But that Saturn V standing up has to meet building code for Huntsville. It's got to take F2.
Yep, there you can just see the Saturn V in there.
Those windows have bullet holes in them.
What part of Alabama did you not understand?
I don't know why Space Camp hasn't been moved to KSC. I think there's a huge missed opportunity right now.
The
of
colonel
NASA's
didn't want to
losing-
pay for it.
Yeah, well, NASA's losing its headquarters in DC. They need to build their own. Space Camp would probably
There's a
see a huge
Y12.
surge of people if it was actually at the Space Coast. Like, that's pretty. Why don't we build basically like the Pentagon of space on the Space Coast? Like, that just seems like it would make
That's
sense.
not a real one. There ain't no fuel dripping out.
It's
just
sat there
dripping
long enough.
It's in Alabama. If they don't put a guard on it, somebody's going to come siphon the fuel out of it.
It's just kerosene. I mean, shit.
If you want to pull mine up quickly, Joe Dog, this is the proposal that seems to have disappeared from Space Center Houston's website of an expansion that they're currently working on. And this would be part of the museum, but also part of Johnson at the same time. And it is a full-fledged lunar and Martian simulation training center.
Oh, there's some more conspiracy theories for you right there. Man.
Oh, 100%. I mean, like they had tons of images. Like, there's only 4 here, but this is like the museum viewing platforms, so you could see what the private companies were testing in the 2 simulated regoliths and everything. And they had this huge website about it, but now there's only 4 pictures left on an old article. But it was supposed to be actually part of Space Center Houston, not Johnson Space Center.
So
was
they're
the weird
moving
part.
it to Johnson?
So this is right next. So where it says Rocket Park, that's Johnson Space Center property.
Yeah.
Independence Plaza and Space Center Houston is private property, separate from Johnson Space Center.
Okay.
But there's a tunnel that goes under the road that then has a Johnson military gate to get access. This big lunar Martian facility would be built on the private property as an expansion part. But they did this huge thing as a fundraiser with NASA, like announcing it with NASA and everything, and seems to have disappeared.
Can you bring mine back up, Joe? I wanted to ask Zach something because
42.
Oh, I knocked Joe off. All right.
All right. What is that?
That is,
Skylab.
Yeah.
yeah,
No, that's not Skylab, is it?
Yeah.
that has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Apollo docked to a Skylab.
And the space pod from Lost in Space, and
They got an Atlas missile. They got an old Chinook out here, Hawk missile system, and Huey, and
Chinook is a lot smaller than I thought it was.
well, it's next to all this big stuff, you know.
But seeing it next to like an Apollo second state, like an Apollo with its stage on it, because I've been next to a few Apollos here at, well, not here, but in Florida at KFC. It's a lot smaller than I thought.
See, that's an Honest John there. Is that American? That looks like a Soviet surface-to-air missile.
we caught one.
Well, it probably bought it cheap.
I'm sure there's pictures down actually on the property.
That's the cyclotron right there.
There's one further back and one of this. Oh, that's inside. Oh, the bathrooms, fantastic. That's what we wanted. There's one there. There you go. Not a very good picture.
And there's a Nike Hercules. Yes, it is. It doesn't look like Skylab because it doesn't have the solar panels or the Mylar blanket.
So gloomy the day this person went. Saturn V is ridiculous.
That's a Scud missile, isn't it? No, Scuds are bigger than that. That's your Honest John missile. And I don't know what the heck that big one behind it is.
There used to be a V2 down there, I believe.
I don't see one unless that's it there. Oh, there's a V1, sort of. Probably a Regulus, actually.
John, you're making me dizzy.
Oh, sorry. Oh, cool.
Arc 2.
They got the moon buggy.
Well, Space Camp does have a shuttle. They have Pathfinder.
Do they? I saw the fuel thing over here. I didn't see a shuttle. I saw the fuel
Yeah,
pod.
if you drop the Street Viewer, there's a picture in the parking lot.
Aha! Cool.
Shuttle is so small but big at the same time.
Now is that a shuttle or just a mock-up?
That's a 3/4. It's a 3/4 scale setup.
Yeah. But they tell everyone at Space Camp it's full scale.
It's the kid version. Doesn't have to be as big.
That's the shuttle out of Space Camp. They brought it back. Their property is a whole random layout of mess.
Well, it's not that terrible. It's just
Well, just the other side of the woods is Marshall, isn't it?
Yeah, that's where Marshall is. Is it Marshall?
Oh, there's the golf course.
Redstone Arsenal.
Yeah, just on the far other side of it.
What was
Yeah,
they just tore down one of the buildings, the original building, the Von Braun building, I think it was called. Because Stephanie was real upset about that one.
Oh.
All right. Oh.
Woohoo!
Marshall doesn't have any test stands, right?
Yes, they do. Several.
Yeah. That's where they tested the Saturn V engines. And
they
they
just didn't point them up.
do what?
They just didn't point them up.
Yeah, that's where they got in trouble. They tested all 5 Saturn engines and did a full scale test run and blew out half the buildings and windows in Huntsville
Yeah.
and busted a few in Birmingham too. It was an overcast day.
Yeah. Oops. But I was more meaning active. I'm trying to think if anyone's actively.
Blue Origin,
They were just recently testing.
the BE4s.
The BE4 is at Marshall? Okay, because most of the stuff I know is at Stennis. That's where most of the other private companies.
Yeah,
are
Stennis does the big stuff. Except for I can't remember what that place is.
John, if you go there to the right, you can see the burn marks.
To the right of which?
There
Right
you
there.
go.
You
Right
can
there.
see the burn marks, dude.
Marshall's bigger than I thought.
It's a real scorched earth policy they got there.
Well, to be fair, they are shooting it into a swamp, so yeah.
I thought they were trying to get rid of the kudzu.
I don't think they got enough rocket engines for that.
You'd have to fan them out a little bit.
Uh-huh. Here's where they keep the fun stuff.
What, the bachelor officers' quarters?
Nah. Ammo supply point.
yes, buildings and buildings for filled with serious putty.
I think. Oh, there was I looking at here one day. I'm trying to remember where it was. It was where they put together rocket fuel, and it was really interesting to look at the site. Let's see if I can find it again. I think it was this place. First and foremost, Redstone is an arsenal.
Oh, John, I went up through Arnold Monday.
Oh, did you? What'd you do?
Went and bought new seats for my car. I now have,
up there in Tullahoma?
yeah, well, on the other, just outside, just on the other side of the city limits of Tullahoma.
Okay. This is where they manufacture solid rocket fuel. They ain't quite finished.
It looks so
I can't remember
weird.
who's that.
But
Can't
John,
remember
I don't know who was at the golf course that day, but there was some tight security at the gates to the golf course to Arnold.
Yeah. Arnold Palmer.
I'll tell you, if he's playing golf, if you're playing golf with Arnold, you're you just had a bad day.
This is interesting. This is where they manufacture the stuff, and of course, you can see these corridors are specifically designed that if there is a unplanned rapid disassembly of the explosives manufacturing facility, it doesn't make it back to the main building.
I beg to challenge that. Have you seen an SRB explode? That whole area would be a crater.
Well, it's actually designed to shoot the crater out in the swamp. So
Yeah,
I guess.
everything's to blow up and to the back.
It's like
All
a
the bullets that include-
fireworks
see-
factory. The roof comes off before the walls fall down.
And if you look closely, they didn't quite finish the whole facility. It's still got room for expansion.
Yeah, they got at least one more spot.
Looks like
there.
one more. But they probably, I got to looking at that and I got thinking about it. They probably couldn't build it because of this.
I mean, just
Even though they got a good bit of
wow,
swamp
this-
between them and the houses, that still doesn't look like it's quite 1,000 meters. So,
Well, measure it. Right click.
well, I keep forgetting I can do that. Measure distance.
And then click where you want to click for the build site.
Let's go from here to here. Yeah.
Oh, you need to click measure distance again
Oh, I do.
Yeah. because you cleared it.
Ah.
So grab the little white dot, drag it one place, and now just go click somewhere else with a left click. 836 meters.
Nope.
Oh, gave me a grid coordinate.
Now you're going back and forth. So click one of the two white dots on the left. There you go. Yeah. 2,700 feet. Bottom of your screen.
836 meters. Yes, that's not far enough. Not for a big boom. Got to be at least 1,000 meters.
It'd be fine. If they had just rotated that whole plant 15 degrees, they would have been able to build a lot more.
Actually, if they put berms
Yeah.
around this outer edge, they could probably build more safer.
Just put it underground.
No, putting that's called tamping, and it actually makes the explosives more effective. I can never remember where Stephanie lives around here. There's the rocket park.
That no one can go to.
No one can go to it.
It's not public.
Hmm.
That's smack in the middle of Marshall. No way you're driving in there.
You sure? They don't have tours? You can't ask?
100%. I mean, you might as media if it's a special event.
Now, I'm curious as to why they put the Federal Bureau of Investigation out in the middle of the woods.
Because they were going to move the FBI to Huntsville. And
there they go. They got a pretty building. Apparently, they're still building their digs. So.
they're moving it from Atlanta to Huntsville.
That makes sense. It's too dangerous to have the FBI in Atlanta. Too many thugs. Anyway.
All right.
Oh, there's a golf course, looks like. No, that's not a golf course. Must be a shooting range.
They run a bus tour now from Space Center, from the U.S. Space and Rocket Center to Marshall. It's $25 a person.
That ain't terrible.
It gives you a glimpse. You go to the
Stephanie
Propulsion
would
Research
post
and Development Laboratory.
I know all last year, Stephanie was posting about the rocket tests they were having out there because she could hear them from her house.
Yeah, they were trying to get New Glenn off the ground.
Oh, is that what they're testing out there?
Yeah.
I'd assume it was the
Blue
BU-4.
Origin. That's where Blue Origin's engine plant is.
Oh, now they're building their one in Florida.
Huh. That's interesting.
That's where they were testing their stuff.
Well, it looks like it's still all under. No, that's all construction stuff there, Joe. They're building that. Well, they were building it. Let's see what type they did. That's this year.
I have a question about those metal towers you were looking at just a little bit earlier, just a minute or so ago.
These?
Those, yeah. Those look like the liquid nitrogen towers that they have over at the factory where I used to work. But
it might be what that is, Dan, because I noticed there's a lot of tankage lying around here.
I mean, I just noticed the resemblance in the design. Of course, the ones at the factory are much, much shorter than that. They don't need that much liquid nitrogen. God only knows what they use it for.
I wonder if they do the same thing for liquid oxygen. That would make sense. Make your own oxygen.
Well, you need liquid nitrogen to make liquid oxygen.
Yeah, you got to cool the ambient down to liquid form.
And then you pull off your argon and your acetylene and
it's amazing what you can make from just air. Well, don't lift us up into orbit.
I'm just looking about.
He's not on Google Earth Pro. It's okay.
all right.
All right, that's enough of it. Enough of that one. What is it? I won't do it now. Oh, there it went. Okay.
Airport.
All right,
Alright,
let's
enough.
bring it back and talk about something. Oh. Everybody back into where position. Why do I always wind up in that damn corner?
Because you're the host of the show.
Oh. Oh.
With the restream updates, you probably can move us wherever you want it.
Oh, I know I can. I can just go whoop.
Well, no, I'm more meaning like you could probably have you big and then us small.
Yeah.
Or something, no? Yeah.
We've always been able to do that.
Mhm.
Oh,
Not me.
I don't know why you got big.
Because he was in the top corner.
There we go.
Whoever's
Oh, okay.
whoever's in slot 1 would go into this spot.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Because this is the layout I use for Wednesday nights.
Joe, I like that piano.
Thank you. Didn't cost me a dime.
It's a rental.
Came
He's
with the
borrowing
house.
it. Nice.
Oh, John, do you know where the old Shoney's was on Hickson Pike right next to Highland Plaza?
Yeah, a big metal roof building with the funky design. Yeah.
Yeah. Guess what that is now?
Mm,
A rusty
Shoney's.
big metal.
it's because it's been everything else.
It's a piano store.
Really?
Yeah, they sell grand pianos. Is that not the perfect building for that?
I don't know. That building's always kind of noisy.
But still, just the design of the building looks like a grand piano.
Eh.
Oh. But yeah, I went up and I bought new seats for the HHR. I now have got leather seats in. Took me and my grandson an hour and 15 minutes
To drive up there or get the seats installed?
to pull the old seats and put the new ones in.
Okay.
Took me 3 days to clean the nasty son of bitches. Oh, and Zach, I'm going to tell you, getting old is not for the weak, brother.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
The other day I went to the bathroom and damn near pooped myself when I was trying to remember what went in there for.
Jesus.
I'll pray for you, Joe Dog.
Someone's got to.
Yeah. Well, somebody.
Just wait, Joe. That day's coming. You're going to walk
Somebody-
in there and go, why am I here? Oh, yeah, that's why.
Somebody remind me to not buy any button fly army surplus trousers anymore.
No. One of the first things I do is when I get home is make sure I've got my belt off.
If I take my belt off, these will fall to the floor.
Yeah, well,
I don't even have to unbutton them.
oh, so you got that condition.
If you mean that I bought trousers that are about 3 sizes too big, and because they're army surplus denim, I wear them to work in.
Mhm.
Yeah, I got that condition.
No, I thought you had no acetol.
No, that'd be me.
George Foreman has 12 children, 5 sons and 7 daughters.
And all named George.
Well, sort of. All of his boys are named George. The girls actually have other names. Natalia, Leola, Frida, Micah, Georgetta, Isabella, and Courtney.
Really reaching with that last one, wasn't he?
I think he gave up.
Been watching too many soap operas.
Oh,
You got 12 kids. It's hard to figure out names, you know. If
Just
it's
give
anything
them
like
numbers.
hey, you.
you.
Yeah.
Just do it by number. Number 1, number 2.
Yeah, it worked for what was that a show on Netflix or was it on Disney? It was adapted from a comic book. Never mind.
You heard the story about the hippie that had 12 wives. And what do you call his wives? 1 Mrs. Hippie, 2 Mrs. Hippie, 3 Mrs. Hippie, 4 Mrs. Hippie.
Yeah, by the time you get to 7 Mississippi, they all going to go off. Oh,
I posted a scene from Yellowstone where Rip and Lloyd were in a bar, and this girl walks up flirting with Rip, and she goes, "I'm married." He goes, "Well, I am too." She goes, "Well, my husband's in Sacramento. Where's your wife?" "Over there looking at you." And she goes, "Oh, let me go talk to her." You don't want to go do that. I'll just go tell her I'm taking you home with me.
no, you don't want to do that.
You don't want to. He goes, "Lloyd, we got to go home." He goes, "It ain't even midnight." He says, "It's close enough. Let's go." That girl walks up to Beth and goes, "I'm taking your husband home with me tonight." She says, "You ain't going to be able to do much for that headache." "What headache?" "Crack!" That's the beer bottle across her head. Beth Dutton is not somebody to play with. She's the baddest one in the bunch. Have you watched Yellowstone, Joe?
What's that?
Have you watched Yellowstone?
I have not.
You've got to watch Yellowstone. I didn't like the way it ended. The series ended, but it's a soap opera for men. Is that a good description, John?
That's a pretty good one, yeah.
I hate it already.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like Dallas, only without all the whiny women, and everybody gets shot, not just JR.
I like the surprise ending version where JR shot JR, and they looked at the camera and go, "What'd that just do?" Yeah, to keep that secret, they filmed every cast member firing a pistol and didn't tell them which one was going to actually wind up being shown.
That's the way to do it right there.
It would, well, and it included
Charlene Tilton.
Everybody on the cast. And I'm sure they actually filmed a couple of the camera operators.
The caterer that doesn't like him, and
the guy that drives the food truck, yeah. The taco truck lady that really got insulted.
Yeah, that was probably one of the last big. There'll never be another moment like that on TV again.
I hope don't
like Fonzie jumping the shark.
Yeah. Don't give him a challenge. Oh my goodness.
There's too many streaming services now. You'll never be able to do it again.
I always loved that story. Now I think it was on Johnny Carson, but I might. Oh no, it was on the British guy.
Corden,
Craig Ferguson.
Ferguson, or James Corden?
No, the British. It's on BBC.
Graham Norton.
Graham Norton. Thank you, Graham Norton. He was on. Mark Hamill was on Graham Norton's show. He was talking about how George Lucas and one of the other writers came into his trailer one day and told him, says, "Listen, kid, we're going to show you something. But if it gets out, we'll know it's you. Because he's not telling anybody. I'm not telling anybody. You're going to be the only one that would let this leak." And it was the part about Darth Vader being his father. Okay. And they had written an entirely different script for everyone else about that moment so that nobody knew about it. And he said, well, I was a telephone, telegraph, telecarry. And, there's no way he could tell Carrie Fisher about it because everybody would know. And so he had to keep it quiet. And then finally it came out, and Harrison Ford got him off to one side one day and goes, "Hey, kid, how come you didn't tell me?" And he did. And he did the
Harrison Ford's voice.
Yes. Mark Hamill is a voice actor and a very good one because he can do a Harrison Ford. His Harrison Ford impersonation is great.
Yeah.
And it's so good that Harrison Ford will look at him and go, "You don't sound anything like me, kid."
One of my favorite jokers, though.
Well, have you ever heard Harrison Ford's joke that got him in trouble with his wife? This guy was working in a grocery store, and this lady walks up. He's working produce. The lady walks up to him and says, "Excuse me, sir, do you have any broccoli?" He goes, "No, ma'am, we're out of broccoli today. We'll have some fresh stuff in tomorrow." She says, "Okay, thank you." About 20 minutes later, she comes up to him again and says, "I can't find any broccoli anywhere. Can you help me with the broccoli?" And he goes, "Ma'am, I'm sorry, we're fresh out. We'll have some in the morning." And she goes on and off, comes back a third time and says, "Excuse me, I can't find the broccoli." He goes, "Ma'am, I need you to help me with something. Can you spell dog like in dogmatic?" And she goes, "DOG." He goes, "Great. Can you spell catastrophic, cat like in catastrophic?" She says, CAT. He says, "Okay. Can you spell fuck like in broccoli?" She says, "There's no fucking broccoli." She says, "What I'm trying to tell you."
Oh. On that note, I got to go down the hall.
Oh, good, he's gone. We'll just sit here for a few minutes and let Dan go pee. See, Joe, you can't see it in the background. Me and John can see it. Dan's cussing us up a storm. Oh, hurry up, Dan. You only got 15 minutes. 14 now. Oh. So, Joe, what's the latest on Indie CD?
Added two more members the other night. Outside of that, I'm working on trying to set up a storefront for people to be able to sell their stuff. Kind of like an Etsy type
Deal
store, but without, taking nearly as much from the sellers.
Spotify? Are you looking through Spotify or what?
No, I'm actually, it's store.indiecd.org that I have set up right now.
Okay.
I'm still kind of screwing around with the back end and figuring out.
Oh, I don't like them because they piss me off. Excuse me. But Eventney.
Say it again.
Eventney.
Eventney.
Yeah.
Put an event on it. Yeah.
NY.
Okay.
I was going to show Zach the Brainerd Space and Rocket Center.
They'll sell everything in they've got except that rocket up there on top of that sign.
Technically,
There's always a price.
No.
Technically, it's not a rocket. It's a fuel tank. But
If the price had multiple zeros in it, I'm sure they would say yes these days.
it could be a rocket. You just got to kick it hard enough.
Anything can be. Just apply fuel, pressure, and Taco Bell.
And the Taco Bell used to be right across the street in one of the original Taco Bell buildings. Back when
Yeah,
Taco
isn't that
Bell.
where the psychic lady is? No, she's next door in the house.
No, it's strangely enough, there's a Mexican restaurant in there.
Yeah.
But it's not Taco Bell. It's Hacienda or
Yeah.
I think
Right
it's also
next door to the Waffle House. Joe, that tells you how powerful a Waffle House is. They made Taco Bell move.
Honestly, I can see that.
Oh.
We lost a John.
Yeah. He's taking his George Foreman hot dog maker back.
Lost a John, gained a Dan.
Yeah, well, it's contagious. What can I say? Oh, Lord.
But do they make a cream for it?
No, not for pollen. No, they do make more Kleenexes though. Get a beer over here.
Have a beer about it, Dan.
Oh dear.
Yeah, Joe, there is a YouTube channel called Junkyard Digs.
Mm-hmm.
In their store, they have a shirt that says, "Let's have a beer about it." And usually when they get to working on a car and it's not working right or something, they're just aggravated and tired. Let's just go have a beer about it.
Yep. Gives you time to think. Gives you time to talk it over, and maybe one of you's got a better idea. And by that time, you're open to new suggestions.
One time, they were working on it was an Oldsmobile. Carburetor was just giving them a fit. And he says, "I'm done, whatever." They leave, go to the, call it a night, go have their beers or whatever. Comes back the next morning. He goes, "All right, we're back here the next morning. Just to remind you what this car does and how it sounds like when it runs." He reaches in, cranks it up, purred like a fucking kitten. And you could see the look on his face of, no. He gets over and, under the hood, revving the motor. Rev it up to the point where it was dying yesterday. Everything's working perfect. He goes, "Well, we were going to change the carburetor, but it's working." So, they went out, took it on a test drive, and it broke down. Test drive.
Ain't that always the way?
Well, hell, I told you about old Yellow giving me a fit the other day. Had somebody come over to look at it. They walked in, cranked it up, and it ran perfect.
That sounds about right.
He goes, well, I can't fix it or figure out what's wrong with it if it ain't acting up.
If it ain't broke, I can't fix it.
Speaking of Old Yellow,
Yeah.
are we still going to
Outside?
outside?
Plan on it. It's the weekend after Labor Day this year. Which is a wonderful time of year because one night you can't sleep because it's so freaking hot. The next night you're freezing to death and you shiver yourself to sleep. But you don't know if it's going to be Friday or Saturday night.
Well, I don't know. Last year was really nice. I mean, the temperature was good every night.
Yeah, well, it was August.
Only problem I had with it was I could hear mosquitoes at night. That drove me nuts. They didn't come anywhere near me during the day.
Of course, probably Zach's heard them down in Texas going as they fly by.
So, yeah.
So where are you at?
What?
Where are you at right now, Zach? Texas or Florida?
The great frozen wasteland of the north.
He's from the new 51st Strait.
Oh,
I had to go up for some medical stuff.
Yeah, it's still free here. For now.
Now,
It's free down here as long as you don't give them your damn address to send you a bill.
None of you told me that.
You're homeless.
You go ahead, you get the procedure done, you walk out, you get your Winnebago and go to Washington State.
Well, we'll see.
No, where are you? Winnipeg? Is that a city or is that the state?
That's the city.
That's
in Manitoba. I'm in Alberta.
Alberta. Alberta's the one that's gonna if any of them split off and join the U.S., it'd be Alberta.
I think so. We're the Texas of the North.
We sure don't want the People's Republic of Quebec. We've already got California, and that's bad enough.
We could trade. Canada can take Washington and Oregon, and America takes the Maritimes and Alberta. Because Maritimes are beautiful.
Yeah. Dan, I was watching something. Do you know 50% of the population of Canada lives below one of the Great Lakes?
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why there's a discussion right now on is the Canadian borderline valid, accurate, or smart?
It's traditional. Try fixing that one.
Traditions were meant to be broken.
Well, it's like that. It's like that joke about the Journey song, where he sings about a small town boy, born and raised in South Detroit. South Detroit is Canada.
Makes sense.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Well, yeah, it is. Windsor.
There's Detroit.
Never noticed that.
There's Windsor, Ontario.
But see, like, why was that border made like that? Like, how stupid.
I know. It's
that
like that
river right there.
Yeah.
But why didn't we just go, like, half of our country, more than half of it, it's just like the 42nd parallel. And then we got to Ontario, and we're like,
It's like
I remember there's a
Upper Peninsula. The Upper Peninsula of Michigan makes no sense to me.
See there,
It
right
either
there.
should be
So-
part of what is it, Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Or
should
its own
either
state.
be part of Wisconsin or part of Canada. One.
Or its own damn state.
Well, see right there. See where
Hey.
Thunder Bay is in the top left, where the line starts to go on an angle? Just draw a straight line from there, follow that angle all the way down. You'll need to zoom out for it. All the way down. And then see where Toronto is, where the line goes straight? Just meet those two lines, and then keep the straight line straight out to the ocean. So we'll take Maine. Y'all can have Toronto and Mississauga and Hamilton. You can for once have South Detroit.
Okay. First thing, speaking for the rest of America. Okay. No deal unless you take New York City.
We're out.
Hey, they can have California.
We're willing to sell that to Greenland.
I already threw one deal breaker in. All right.
See, this is a hard thing. Is who do I want to get the better deal, America or Canada?
Okay. Here's my plan.
But look how nice the borderline is there at the top, and then
Yeah, that
having
was
to learn how to draw that in elementary school.
with that.
Yeah, all of it. They just gave us North America, and they're like, draw the borders.
Okay, wait a minute. Let's see if I can find it here. I need a better map.
Hey, 2 minutes. We got to go.
Oh,
We got to say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody. I'm already in the other room.
Good night,
All
folks.
right. Good night, y'all. And that's it. We'll see y'all Thursday. Bye.
I have slept the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand, and touched the face of God.